Welcome back. In this lecture, you're going to be learning about geotags. In the previous lecture, you learned what tags were that allows you to connect people to your content. Well, a geotag allows you to connect locations to your content. And this is very important because it allows you to get even more reach. And studies have shown that using geolocations can increase your engagement by up towards 79%. That's right, 79%. And the reason for that is probably because if you're running a brick and mortar store and you have a physical location, well, guess what? More people in that actual location are going to find you and are going to want to engage with your business. Even if you have a digital business, you are still creating content from somewhere and you can get additional exposure. Now, the basic rule is always make sure that you use geotags. And the reason is it's almost like an additional hashtag. When we spoke about the hashtag in a previous lecture, if you remember, you're allowed to use 30 hashtags per post, and you should use all of those 30. With that said, Instagram's algorithm is getting smarter and smarter, and just using anything on random is not going to get you more exposure. Instagram today recommends that you use 3 to 5 hashtags, but if you use all 30 and they make sense, and they make sense that the algorithm can see that it's the same niche and it makes sense to your content you create, to the account that you have, etc., you're gonna get more exposure. So the reason to use an additional geotag just like this is that instead of 30 hashtags, it's almost like getting 31. Just make sure that it makes sense because Instagram's algorithm is getting smarter and smarter. So let me show you how this works. So looking here, we have an account called Modo Yoga LA, and just like the name suggests, it's a yoga studio that's situated in LA. Now, if I click on the first piece of content they have here, you can see in the upper corner that it says Los Angeles, California. So that means that they have tagged their location to this specific piece of content. Now, the benefit with that is that they're gonna show up on an additional place on Instagram. They're gonna get even more reach. And let me show you how that works. Now, if I were to search for Los Angeles, California, which is huge, by the way, this piece of content probably isn't gonna show up on the first page, but it's gonna be in that location. If I go to search and then I search for Los Angeles like that, you're gonna notice that all I'm gonna get up are accounts, and sometimes I'm gonna get hashtags too. But if I click down here where it says see all results, then I have the top results, I have the accounts, I can even see audio, I can see tags, but here's the important part for geotag, I can see places. So there we have Los Angeles, California. And if I click in there, as you can see, I'm getting a ton of different pieces of content here working just like a hashtag. Now, when we were searching for a hashtag, it worked the same way. You wrote in the hashtag and you're getting all the content organized after that hashtag. Well, a geotag works the same way, but it's organized after the location. So if you're running a brick and mortar store, this is a must. But even if you're not running a brick and mortar store, if you're a digital business, even if you have a digital product, you still should use a geotag because it gives you more exposure. But just make sure that the geotag that you're using is on your location or somehow makes sense. Because again, as with hashtags, you can use 30 hashtags, and I recommend that you do, but even Instagram is only recommended that you use 3 to 5 hashtags today because most people are just spamming hashtags, and the algorithm is too smart for that, and then all of those extra 25 hashtags aren't going to make sense. Geotag works the same way, so make sure that when you add the geotag, it's relevant to your location and to your piece of content, and that's the only way to make sure that the algorithm picks up on it and you get that extra exposure. So the takeaway here is that geotag is tagging your location to your content, and you should always use it and always make sure that it makes sense. Awesome. See you in the next lecture.